Welcome back to the SedeP worldwide news source network of a supreme power and authority. Tonight we have myself, James Green, and our enemy, TLM Ryan. Hey, TLM Ryan, why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, thank you, sir. As Picante said, I go by TLM Ryan on Twitter. I guess you could call me the R&R guy here, although I don't exactly flaunt that a lot. Just kind of got onto the scene recently, appeared on Avoiding Babylon, just because I ran a couple of statistics showing that traditionalism is growing, the ape of the church, non-Catholic type masquerades are failing. And I just recently started a channel where I do 60-second apologetics. And I tweet a lot, and me and Picante, we tweet back. So he was courteous enough to invite me on, and I thank you for that.
Oh, wow. Excuse me. So how long have you been in tradition? Since you only became a Catholic like 5 years ago, right?
Yep, and I really that's what I started out as. I didn't go to a Novus Ordo for like 2 years, and the only reason I did is I was on vacation, So I knew what Latin Mass was. There was 2 blocks from me, so I've been a traditionalist the whole time. Yeah.
What about yourself, James?
Yeah, well, I don't know how much I should share. It's funny because I've been painted as a Sede now. Hilarious thing when I made the joke last time we talked, or maybe this was on SedeCast when I don't even know who the name of the person is inviting me. I called myself James R&R Green because my name is R. But yeah, I don't even know if I'd officially call myself a traditionalist. I've definitely been very, very radicalized by the last kind of year, but especially the last 2 months.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. But I mostly just write Catholic satire, and I try to think about Catholic things in a little bit of church politics, theology, philosophy. But in the last couple months, I'm like, well, things feel like they're heating up, I will say. But I think the best response is satire. So I write a lot of satire on issues in the churches. I think we can, I don't want to say laugh at all of our problems, but hopefully find a cathartic way to at least be aware that they're there. Yeah.
Yeah. But and so by way of introduction, I became a traditionalist at Franciscan University in 2009. So I've been in this thing 16 years at least. I was in the Schola Cantorum for 9 semesters. Sacred music is my background. I have a major in philosophy, a minor in theology, a minor in sacred music. Failed my master's in philosophy. Crashed out. Went to the Novus Ordo. Couldn't figure out why it was so bad. Discovered that Sedes actually had priests and bishops, and became a Sede essentially. Like, it took my brother 1 week, or it was really 2 days, to say the church is indefectible. It can't issue retarded stuff. And we're like, yes, she can. And you're like, do you repeat yourself to what you said? I'm not going to repeat myself. That sounds stupid. And then it was like all downhill from there. So I'd wanted to begin this episode off asking both of you, if you've ever watched any of the Sede, the Normie Catholics versus Sede debates, they are literally the most boring thing in the world. I was arguing with someone, and he's like, universal peaceful acceptance. Therefore, all the popes are real popes. And I'm like, okay, what about Vigano? What about Lefebvre? What about like all the Sede groups that now have bishops too? There's like 20 Sede bishops in the world now. Yep. Excuse me. What about Archbishop Thuk in 82 declaring that the see was empty? What about the Ottaviani intervention? It would seem the Ottaviani intervention in 69 is like, hey guys, we're not in peaceful acceptance anymore. And you talk to these normies, these just normal Novus Ordo Catholics, and it's like, no, universal peaceful acceptance, everything in the world is fine. It's like, there's no point anymore, it seems to me, for traditionalists to talk to normie Novus Ordos, especially about sedevacantism.
Well, or even the crisis in the church. I mean, I don't think you get anywhere with them there.
Yeah. Yes, we know the Dodgers are playing here. What do you want to comment on that, James? Is there any point to like Sedes and Novus Ordos talking anymore?
Well, it's funny is there seem to be two separate debates. There's first the one, is there a crisis in the church? That's one where I feel like you can make, where like an average conversation can make progress in terms of persuading someone more or less towards something. Of course, crisis is a vague term, like there's not a there, but like that is a debate that I think is worth addressing in terms of persuading people, because there's like much more present in things that people can be conscious of to talk about. The Sede versus I don't want to say normie Catholic, but like that debate, it's you go in endless circles because we're not using the same terminology, or even if we are, like, because I engaged in this in the spring, so I encountered Deuterocomical's channel. I don't know if both of you probably aware of him. Got involved in discussing things with him, and then went on this belief back in December that I needed to go on a crusade to convert the diamonds, or at least their followers online. And then I descended into realizing I was doing it for completely uncharitable reasons. And I'm like, okay, I need to stop. I mean, I do satirize the diamonds themselves, but I realize trying to just go get the got them on the diamonds is kind of on the diamond followers is kind of it's a activity that seemed to be not conducive to charity in myself, for one. And then secondarily, I'm like, you will just talk in endless circles. I then throughout the spring talked to a couple CMRI people, and those were far more interesting conversations. But I still felt like I and the other guys that I don't want to say I was formally debating, because I did not have the grasp of even the Vatican II documents, let alone the Vatican I ones and the Trent ones that we were focusing on. Still felt like we were going around in circles. So I feel like those are two separate things. Sorry for the long-winded answer, but like what is happening in the church is one that I think you can get somewhere. But like the particular nature of the crisis and as canon law relates to it is quite a different one.
Well, you have a tweet, TLM Ryan here. Let me just pop it up here. Right, you say I'm sick and tired of these ever-growing laundry list of things traditional Catholics are told that you have to do in order to be treated with any modicum of decency and respect. We're faithful Catholics, just trying our best. No more demands, no more dangling carrots. Enough. Don't you feel?
I like that voiceover.
Yeah, no. It's the only way to read Twitter. That's like literally don't you think that's kind of like, at some point the trads just need to say like, we'll just take care of ourselves and make our own bishops, like Lefebvre essentially did, and we're just gonna have to go build our own seminaries, because I don't know about you, but this whole Novus Ordo world just doesn't seem to care.
No, that was a moment of frustration, but it builds on months and months of and probably even years of looking into this and seeing the trends. It's disheartening to see that Lefebvre, I think there was like one other guy, but he was really like the minority. Okay, like go back to the French Revolution. Most priests didn't bend the knee, right? But when you go to the problems with Vatican II, most people went along, like 99.99% did. And back then, like, there was all this enthusiasm. It's documented. It's well documented, all the enthusiasm for it. Like, hey, we're going to make these changes and everything's going to be great. So the courage of Lefebvre to put his foot down is commendable. We're now at a point where, like, that's not so much of a gamble to say, oh, things are bad. It's so obvious. We have 60 years of data, but the courage has dissipated even less or even more. Like, I don't see another Lefebvre in the traditionalist circle right now. I mean, you could argue for Vigano. I don't know, like, what his status is or not. I know he's excommunicated, as are probably every faithful Catholic eventually. But I mean, I literally told and James, to your point, like in terms of radicalization, I had a friend who was like the calmest, most happy-go-lucky guy, totally fine with a halfway average Novus Ordo. And he's just like, dude, just put me in the SSPX and excommunicate me now. Within like 6 months, that's where it's gone. So yeah, I mean, Picante, to your point, we've just got to say enough. I mean, we have to start fighting, because if you look at what the modernists do, they fight. They fight really hard, and they fight really dirty. They're patient and crafty. But yeah, it's like, just start building your own stuff now. Like, what are they going to do? Like, they didn't even fully excommunicate Lefebvre. They had like oh, well, it's our opinion that you've laite setente excommunicated. Like, what is that? Like, that's an opinion letter. We've got to
They
get.
didn't want to dignify him with a response. It's the same bullying tactic you get, like, whenever there's like a political thing going on. Like, there's that time in 2008 where John, not Stossel, the Jew, John, this guy, the guy in Late Night, and anyway, he's like, hey, the third running guy in Iowa, and it was Ron Paul, and
Paul.
Fox News had blacked him out,
Yep.
and he was just like making fun of it, but like, that's literally what they were doing to the traditionalist movement before. Except for newspapers carrying Lefebvre throughout the entire world. There's clippings of a New Zealand newspaper talking about Lefebvre I found on the internet. Like, other than that, like, he didn't exist, and then every single thing that you heard about him was bad. Like, we don't realize that until like the 90s, maybe. All of the news and all the propaganda was all these traditionalists are schismatics and they're all evil, and all you people are bad for thinking about it. And the traditionalists themselves started to believe that too. That's just why I think this, because Cicada and Sanborn, when they were looking up Archbishop Duck, they'd listened to a lot of bad info on him, and they were like, yeah, we don't want to be anything related with this guy. And then, like, God had to spend another 6-7 years to get those people to come together. It's like, oh, that's a huge mess. So
yeah, but James, I agree with James. I mean, the crisis is something you can talk about. Other than that, I don't know.
But what about our Pope respecter telling us that Pope Leo is very clear that church teaching will not change? But I thought he's already said that we just have to change our attitudes towards women deacons because they're equal to us.
You want to be super charitable about that? Like, my take on Leo is and it's gonna be to his detriment. So don't think like I'm trying to excuse him here. Is he's just a please everyone politician, and which is the last thing the church needs right now. So he's throwing these verbal bones to people. I swear, man, if Pope Francis didn't do it, I don't know. It almost seems like they know they're treading on hollowed ground. Even with these modernists, it's like they don't want to ever issue a formal like overturning. They just want to violate it over and over and over and over again. So I don't know, man. Like, when I heard that, and he was like, yeah, like, our attitudes need to change. It's like, they've never been more liberal ever. Like, if now is the time to change, like, if you poll Catholics, like your normie Catholics, are all in favor of all this crap, and just do it. That's the one thing. It's like, why haven't they done it? It's strange.
No. You don't understand this if you don't understand the whole corporatization that Jim Screen has pointed out, that they have to hold it over you, just like, oh, your beer might go bad, your football might go bad. You have to pay attention. All this stuff is about to go bad. Your Social Security is about to go bad. Everything's going bad, and you gotta go, oh my goodness, it's the most important 4 years of my life, followed by the most important 4 years of my life, followed by, it's like, it's this dog and pony show. It's never stopped, and it's just the greatest thing ever. It's like, until you put your foot down and say no, this pony and the dog and pony show will never stop. They will always hold women priests over us. They will always, and they will always be inching forward. We're already in union with the Anglicans. They've already had women clerics say mass with us. Then you're like, yeah, but it's a Novus Ordo mass. It's invalid already. I don't go to that thing. At least,
yeah, but what do they say? It was like, well, the dogma hasn't changed, just the expression has, and it's like, well, like,
yeah, okay, yeah.
That's like, do as I say, not as I do. Like, that never works, man.
That is like the Pope explaining, like, peak gaslighting of all time. And I wanted to touch on that because ever since the Charlie Kirk thing, where they're like, the death penalty is bad, we must support the omnipotent, like, human dignity of murderers. I was just like, there's no way you can say this. And one of them did say it. I think it was Eric McCabe. He's like, yeah, the death penalty is still wrong, even though that person who killed Charlie Kirk is wrong. The death penalty is wrong, and two wrongs don't make a right. You're like, so if I run over your wife with a car, you're gonna forgive me on the spot, and I can run over you too. And then, like, what is this? What's going on?
Well, love is also justice. That's the crisis in the church right now. Is they give you half the gospel. They give you the softness, but they don't give you the hard. Like, I don't know about you guys. My favorite teachers, my favorite coaches in life were tough but fair. And all we have is softness right now. We have no tough but fair. God can't be love if he's not just.
That's why I've talked about this. Sorry if you're me jumping in as managerialism. That Leo has been acting as the manager. He's trying to bring consensus. He's trying to placate the shareholders, placate the customers, placate the employees. We're going to have some meetings to talk about things and soothe the emotions. We're going to have listening sessions, which is really all that synodality is it just corporate speak plastered in the church?
Yeah.
And it's that sort of, okay, we're going to have a new marketing campaign. We're going to go splash a new billboard. We're going to go put a fresh coat of paint on the outside. We're going to change the corporate governance structure. We're going to have a whole set of meetings about what our meetings will look like. And it's all the culture of managerialism, the whole which really taken over the rest of
call it
society.
What is it? Corporate America is call it everything it's not. Call it everything it's not.
So, what do you guys think about this whole a few weeks ago, or is it months at this point? Stephen Cox was all mad about trading. He was trying to censor him. It's like, I don't know what his problem is, because he's also an opinionist, so he's like not on any side as far as I can tell. I think there is a Sede Inc. It's Stephen Heiner and Mario Dirksen, by the way. We officially canonically approve of that message. But do you guys think that there is a self-censorship problem that is going to go on, where you have like the popesplainers on one side, they completely, we're all on the message, we only believe the message. Trad Inc. has to sort themselves out between which group of Trad Inc. they are. And then there's Sede Inc. where like, either we should be as violent and flaming people as we can be, or we should be as charitable as we can be. And they'll fight each other too. Do you think this is like a real thing that's going to go on right now, and for like next 6 months, and kind of screw everything up?
I think ultimately it's spiritual. Like, I put out a tweet, I think it was like 2 days ago. I was like, and it was about the person I forget, is it Stephen? It might have been about Stephen. Maybe it was Chris Jackson, because he's doing the same thing. Which, I like their content, but man, their delivery, I'm like, why are we bashing the shit out of each other, guys? Like, the problem is in Rome, not down here. I mean, sure, we can have slight disagreements, but I think, James, to your point, like, if everybody in a particular segment of the Catholic world agrees there's a problem, that is, there you go. Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah.
Like,
do you want me to read it out?
If you recognize there's a problem and you're not popesplaining, you are like 80% of the way there. But those people are attacking each other. Like, I do not understand. I told Chris Jackson every Friday, I'm like, dude, just have a cocktail, man. Like, why are you mad that Taylor Marshall hasn't come to the conclusion as quick as you? Taylor Marshall's clearly shifting back into Francis mode. It's so obvious. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, he lied for 5 months. I'm like, dude, it's going to be like a 20-year pontificate. I don't know what you want right now. It's absurd, the fact that we're attacking each other over these things. It's so demonic. The devil divides and accuses. That's my take. I think it's spiritual. I don't know anything. Look, it's me and Burke. I would know if there's Trad Inc. I met him once. There's been no message sent.
But you're saying that
people were just hopeful. And Leo played it close to the vest for a bit. No longer.
Yeah, he played close to the vest when Mario Dirksen. I don't know how to look his Twitter up, but but the reason why I bring this up is because as a Sedevacantist who's ethnically Mexican and Catholic, my great grandparents were Cristeros. I feel like it's in my blood to fight literally every person who's not a Sede. The problem is since we're going to be here for 20 years, we do actually need to have some sense of communication back and forth and decide who's the good guys, who's the bad guys. And as far as I'm concerned, there's multiple Sede accounts I just wish we could nuke. There's multiple trad accounts I wish we could nuke. There's multiple popesplainer accounts I wish we could nuke, but they're not going anywhere. So this is going to be a problem that everybody has to at some point figure out how to work through. This was part of the reason I'm doing a show like this, is because I think the Sedes are right about everything, but I think the Sedes have a PR problem because we're so right, and everyone on Twitter is on Twitter to dunk on people, that it's really annoying to get constantly dunked on. Like if you have siblings and they're just dunking on you nonstop, it happens, you say something wrong and then they got to repeat that 8 times that day. It's really annoying. You burp at the wrong times. I was like, oh, it's just there's a certain amount of we do actually need, especially the smaller channels, to build some relationships with each other. Did you have any comment on this, James? Because I know that you have the theory that everybody content creates according to how their audience wants them to. Since my audience is primarily trolls, I troll.
Yeah, and I guess I'd say a number of things. Is I've both had conversations. I mean, not spoken, but just written with Chris and Stephen. And I've had a weird thing where I was wavered. I was actually me, my brother, and my mother were the first 3 subscribers to Chris Jackson's Substack, and he started it partly out of me suggesting it to him because I had contacted him about satire. And then I got really paranoid after Leo's election, and I was writing to him and be like, "You shouldn't say that. You shouldn't say that." I'm worried, and then I attacked Stephen over something that I kind of realized I wasn't really true, but I was just in this kind of paranoia of, I am a Catholic. I need to give the Pope the benefit of the doubt. I need to attack those who are angrily attacking the Pope until proven otherwise. Was kind of the mode I was in June, July, August in communication with those people. So I was starting to get into this antagonistic, there's this new, I don't know, I was starting to feed on this antagonism and grow it, as I think a lot of us do. But I think the problem that hits everyone is there is audience capture. It's a mimetic effect that you like and want to produce that thing which gets you the most interest and which gets you the most comments and the most readership and the most feeling affirmed. I've noticed it affecting my own writing, is the things that Dr. Kwasniewski or Chris Jackson or Stephen Cox share of the things that I've written are the things that I feel like I want to write more of, even though I started out writing more about history and kind of philosophy and politics and things like that. But I found that the audience liked what is the nature of the crisis in the church type things, and that's stuff that I write more of now.
They made you kill your darlings, didn't they?
But I'm still interested in the other stuff, but I'm like, okay, this is definitely affecting me. Mimesis, the proper term for it, affects all of us. You follow the crowd, you try to comport your thinking to those who are around you. When I was roommates of a Byzantine guy, I started talking far more Byzantine wise, and I've done a lot less of that since I stopped. The more I go to TLM, the more TLM-ish I sound and talk, etc. It affects all of us, and I feel like that's affecting the trad world. But I think it's mostly a mimetic effect, and that people just stay in their lane, and then that lane kind of goes with them.
Yeah, I really do agree, because that's a big thing that happened with Avoiding Babylon. There's an interview they did with David Ross, and they were very middle of the road. We don't bash the Pope. We try to keep things light. And then they just got so mentally down at one point in the last year. It was every single episode was, what's the Pope doing now?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, it's gonna get you. And even watching some of TLM Ryan's content, it's the same thing. It's like, yeah, this Pope's gonna get you. So in the moving on to the next question. What does everyone do you think about the Pious Pelican Plus and the attempts to rein in content to centralized platforms with a few chosen content creators who get paid for pumping out content regardless of whether it's true or false?
James, you want to go or me?
You should go, please.
I don't really have a problem with it. I mean, at the end of the day, like, to create an app is kind of impressive. If you don't want to listen to it, you don't have to listen to it. Because, like, they were on YouTube. I don't like the YouTube censorship. Now, what we did see in 2020 was that if you go really overboard, they can pull you off the app stores. So it's not like it's a silver bullet. I think the value would be more in the independent. Like, I can say, like, you know, you don't have to be like Anthony Stein, where you're saying like sacrifice to Moloch. You can just say what you, which Anthony does a great job. He still gets his message out, and that's
It's kind of his thing now. He's like, the feds are watching me, guys, and by the feds, I mean the ice cream cone men in the street across
He's so
the
good
way.
at it. Like, I don't even need him to translate anymore. Like, I have the translation memorized at this point. But so I think that's probably going to be the biggest thing. Whether or not they can control content, like, and like, I don't know, like, authenticate it is, I don't think it's going to be that way. Like, you've got almost all of them are SSPX friendly, which in my circles is like edgy. Like, my circles don't even really like consider SedeP contests, or they won't even give them the time of the day. So their Pelican Plus is probably the edgiest in like the mainstream trad sphere you're gonna get. But it's like that barrier there is just it's whatever the audience. If the audience has a problem with the SSPX, they're not going to listen to it, right? I don't think the guys that they're inviting there are going to have the sway to be like, oh, this is, what do you want to call it, Trad Inc. So this is approved. So good for them. It's quite an endeavor. If they put out good stuff, great.
Well, if they put out good stuff, you won't see it unless you're paying. So I don't know, like, what's the point?
I don't know. I downloaded it just to look at it. But I've not listened to anything. I mean, so.
Do you have thoughts, James? Because you run a blog, right? Do you put everything behind a paywall?
I don't do anything behind. I have like long-term dreams about satire, Catholic satire becoming a thing with the people I have collaborating with me on that. But no, the thing that I don't like about it is it's a kind of a worse platform than their current platforms. Because currently they just have their articles are just I don't know what they call it, a screen insert where it's fed from Substack. So like with Dr. Kwasniewski's articles on there, they're harder to read on this new platform than they are just on Substack itself. And the videos are harder to find in search. I was looking through Nick Cavazos's or Kennedy Hall's. And I've subscribed, because I was subscribed to Dr. Kwasniewski, and he said this is where to find me now. But it just seems like there's quite a bit less there than they put out for free. So I don't know the business case as it is right now. I am friends with Dr. Kwasniewski, and Nick Cavazos goes to the same LMS that I go to most of the time.
Have you given him a salsa jar yet?
What do you
say?
Have
you given him a salsa jar yet?
No, because I work with one of his friends, so I don't want to ruin too many.
I'll give you $100 if you give him a salsa jar, okay? You just tell me when you do it, and I'll send you the money.
I really want to bring down the temperature on this.
The only way I'm subscribing to Pelican Plus is if he puts up all his old content with all of his crash outs about his girlfriend dumping him for the last 2 years. If that's on Pelican Plus, the one where he says, I'm a young, handsome man, and why don't I get women? I mean, like, what's wrong with these chicks? If he puts that back up, the one I don't have downloaded onto my computer, awesome.
I very much enjoy being, so I watch 2 channels. And so I very much enjoy not knowing what the hell is going on in the trad drama sphere.
which might be better for your.
I have
faith,
enough.
too.
I have enough to deal with the Pope right now. It's good enough for me to not have to deal with all of this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm an A-logger, so like I literally have like 8 or 9 channels I regularly look at once a month at least, just to see if I can pull content from. So yeah, us drama whores.
But
So
that's the
as
problem
far,
with drama. Drama distracts you. It's like from the real thing at stake. And yes, drama is fun because I satirize drama, and I just you and we do too with SedeCast. But it is all this drama that seems to be fulfilling the goal of the liberals and the wokes, and I mean whatever we call this managerial thing
Dude,
that is infesting the
what do you
church.
think James Martin wants? Martin wants us to argue with Nick about his girlfriend.
I don't think James Martin gives a shit what we do. I think he's so set and he has everything he
Well, I
wants in
think
the
he
whole
would just
world.
if he had to choose, he would prefer traditionalists to devour themselves.
Well, I mean, I'd prefer Nick to actually become a traditionalist. Because my viewpoint, as someone who's been a traditionalist 10 years longer than he's been a Catholic, is that he's not a traditionalist. He doesn't even understand the traditional theses.
Is traditional thesis only sedevacantism?
No,
No.
it's a complete analysis and rejection of the Vatican II changes to the faith. So that's primarily a Novus Ordo thing. And when he went to a Novus Ordo, his complaint was that he couldn't do what he wanted to do at it. Not that it was invalid. Not
Oh,
that
so
he thought that there was something
it's like
structurally
aesthetic.
wrong with it.
Yeah.
It was his feelings were hurt. This is like at Crimea River. I used to get up at 6:30 and go to Novus Ordo Mass for 10 years. While I was a trad, I didn't know any better. It's like, and then he does it once and he does 3 different episodes crying about it. It's like dude, you just started the journey and you're already complaining.
I feel like that's the I get that from Avoiding Babylon too. Well, I mean, I was on their show. I like those guys. But there was this they told me I had to go to Novus Ordo boot camp. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to Novus Ordo boot camp. Like I mean, I'm the stats guy, which is funny because I have no business being the stats guy, but nobody like really seems to look into that. And I just looked at the retention rates on the Novus Ordo. I'm like, it's poison.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I mean, if I wanted to be charitable, I think I told Modern Papist, I was like, look, it's like junk food. Like you can cheat on it, but if you eat that for 10 years, you're gonna die of a heart attack. The retention rate, like if you go weekly, if you were like a devout Novus Ordo attendee, your children have like a 25% chance of remaining Catholic. It's so like you in 33 AD, you could not get the faith off the ground with that. It would die out. It wouldn't work. It is a poison. Now it may be a slow poison. We can argue that. I don't have stats on like Latin Novus Ordos, but the more traditional it gets, the better and better. And the TLM has a 75% retention rate. So I'm like, look, I'm not going into dangerous zones. I'm not arrogant enough to think that I can withstand it. And that's kind of my thing on it doesn't matter. I don't even get into the validity, the non-validity. I don't want anything to do with it because it's a danger to my faith, period.
So
like I don't have to actually get in. I don't actually have to make a dogmatic like valid or non-valid. And I think, Picante, we saw that in North Carolina when they banned the Latin Mass to that one. The SSPX got 50. And that diocesan that they put people into got 500. So about half bent the knee. I'm like, dude, like we got to stop calling this the TLM and the Novus Ordo. We got to start calling it the 9 and 10 leave versus 75% stay. Just keep it at that.
So what do you think about the content problem of we have clergy who are supposed to be trained in theology, but then majority of all the content is actually made by unqualified lay theologians? And does this constitute a systemic problem to clergy not being able to support themselves? Because, I got to have my Avoiding Babylon subscription and my Pelican Plus subscription, and I don't have my father, Joe down the street subscription. I give him money every once in a while, but like it's not a subscription. It's not guaranteed money.
Isn't that modernism? Isn't that what Vatican II called for? More laity?
Yes, but then are you saying that avoiding Babylon and Pelican Plus are laity
No.
and modernists?
The clergy is completely lost too. So,
Well, because I've had the same issue before. I've had people ask me, "Why don't you have a Patreon, SedeP?" It's like, I don't know, because I feel kind of bad because there's like Sede bishops who are like, "Hey, I've got to put a guy through seminary. That's $5,000 per semester," and it's like, I hope he who's not working, I hope his family just coughs the money up. Same with SSPX. Like, I hope someone's coughing the money up, and you're like, "Well, I'm a content creator. Give me $20 a month." And you're like, it'd be better sent to someone else.
yeah, actually, like my channel's super small, but when I do hopefully grow slightly and I get some type of either monetization or I put like
Do
a
what?
Patreon up, I'm just going to donate it to a traditional seminary.
Well, we're
'Cause
getting reamed.
What's that?
The Dodgers are getting reamed right now. The Blue Jays put up 7 runs this inning.
Good.
No,
Oh, are you a
bad.
Dodgers fan? They won last year.
And they can win this year. You gotta get a bear. It's horrible.
Who's Phil Gonzalez? He's kind of spicy in the chat.
Evil. I'm back because I can't watch this stuff.
He's got a lot to say.
So what do you want to, what's your thoughts on that, James? Should we be excommunicating all lay people who ask for money?
I guess I don't know, because you could argue that it's simony in a certain way, like trying to use the things of the faith to make me for yourself. But I also feel like we're just in a, I don't know. And I'm about to make a modernist style argument of we are in a different time. But I guess that kind of is, in a way, the crisis in the church argument is, okay, we are in a different time. Like that continues succeeded in creating the different time.
That is true.
Isn't there something in like the mystics and the Marian apparitions that kind of talks about, or maybe this is even like early church fathers that talk about towards the end, the laity will be like the ones who kind of, like, they can't lead obviously, but they kind of keep it together for a while. I'm somewhat remembering that there's either some type of prophecy or consensus among certain theologians that would occur at a certain point. I mean, it certainly is occurring right now. Like, I can't get good theology from most ordained clergy, like not even most, like almost all, unless it's like private behind closed doors. But it's not in public. It's not on YouTube. It's not like I can't go on Google and ask a question. I've either got to research something from like 300 years ago, or I've got to go on a YouTube channel with a layperson.
Yeah, or you could just go watch Bishop Sanborn sermons. They're pretty good. I like watching them like for meditations on like Good Friday or something. He's got a few of them that are pretty good.
I just discovered Bishop Williamson, who recently died.
Okay, this is great.
I thought,
we're gonna get you.
dude, I thought it was AI because he was saying the most inappropriate things. I couldn't believe it. Like, no, this is not AI.
Wait, do I have that clip of him? Where's the Bishop Williamson clip in the media assets?
You teach false philosophy in these universities, and it's inevitable that the kids are going to be all lost or faggots.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
But it's so true. It's like, oh yeah, here it is. It's the truth. Wait, the bishop said that. Yeah, that's a traditionalist sound like.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I legit thought that was AI.
So I wanted to ask you, because you had a video out where you were like, "There's no treading, and they will not keep me silent, and I will not let my voice be smothered." So what constitutes resistance to the Pope in your mind?
Pretty simple. It's, I generally give him the benefit of the doubt, but if it's clear that he's okay, so like the whole death penalty thing, that's the best example. Like, it's so easy. You can just Google this stuff. the church has always taught that the death penalty is part of church teaching. So when it's very clear that the Pope is wrong, that's when I kick in to, I mean, resist. It's like, dude, I'm a nobody. So it's not like I feel like I need to write a Substack or make a post about it. But like if a friend of mine talks to me or someone tweets about it, I will say, this is incorrect. The Pope was incorrect. I will obviously, as a resist guy, always speak on infallibility qualifications if it gets to that point. But I'm just like, it's very simple. Francis and Leo are wrong, or the whole church was always wrong. It's a binary. It's binary right now. I mean, in JP2, people kind of JP2 didn't go that far though. So, but whatever, fine. You can throw JP2 in there if you want. So either the last four pontiffs, I don't think Benedict said anything, but JP2, Francis, and Leo were wrong, or the church was always wrong. If the church is always wrong, dude, like, just go, like, I don't know, stop being religious. I don't not encouraging, but that's like,
it is the logical conclusion.
That's the conclusion. This is false. It's what St. Paul says, is if like it would almost be as if Christ did not rise from the dead, then our faith is in vain. And as Catholics, if the church was wrong for 2,000 years and consistently taught error, it's in vain. Maybe try orthodoxy. I don't know.
So there's an interesting quote here where Pius XII says in 44 that God is the master of any life. And then Donum Vitae, quoting it, says, God alone is the Lord of life, right? And they just cut out the end part. And the Catechism of the Catholic Church quotes Donum Vitae verbatim. And the next one just firmly rejects the death penalty, quoting Donum Vitae, or quoting the Catechism, to Morsa Teacher quoting Relatio Finalis. And it's very interesting to me because when I'm looking through the footnotes, you're like, wait a second, that's actually just a scholarly error. The church can scholarly err in her teaching office? It seems to me that's a fallible teaching office if it can not know how to copy entire sentences and then create a new teaching based on inaccurate copying of sentences. Wouldn't you think?
I mean, whenever we get to that, I just fall back on infallibility, which I'm sure you're sick and tired of hearing on.
I know, right?
So it is funny, like if you were to zoom out here and think about this from a more like cosmic level, I find it very curious on the historical standpoint that you have Vatican I, which clearly outlines infallibility before this crisis starts. And this crisis also starts when the internet starts to pick up.
Yeah,
where
God made the internet to save the church.
I do believe that. I actually, because like if you're confused right now, like this, I'm coming from Recognize and Resist. Like, and I'm not bashing the seeds. Like, I'm just not. That's not my opinion. But if you want to search, because you can do this if you're a sedevacantist or not. If you need to know what the church teaches on the death penalty, you can figure it out really easy. If you want to know, that's the problem. There's so much lukewarmness or brain rot. A lot of people just I just follow whatever the Pope says. That's safe. What are you talking about? Like, if you haven't noticed that popes have been saying weird stuff for a while now, I mean, have you been under a rock? Like, whether you want to take a recognize and resist approach or a sedevacantist approach, you need to know what the church teaches. Google it. I mean, come on, guys. Like, you're not going to go to heaven lukewarm. You need to be able to Google things if things get tough, whether or not you think the Pope's valid or not, period.
What do you think, James? What constitutes resistance?
Yeah, that's where I'm really confused. I had this debate with Mark Bizone, who's a far bigger and more popular writer than me on Substack, and actually wrote back and forth. And then I wrote an article.
All right, man.
We're seeds. Come on, it's funnier. It's like the seeds of the plants and stuff. Yeah, you were saying, James. Sorry,
James.
Yeah. No, just that. I had this debate with Mark Bizone because Mark, he's mostly a political-oriented writer, but he discovered Chris Judson when Judson started, and then he actually discovered some of his stuff, and he put me in the same category as Chris Judson when he was writing against me. And Mark Bizzone's view is real resistance is joining up with Vigano, and with a combination of actually storming Rome and 5-generation like internet warfare, just like
Basically war.
and like his view is warrior bishop. And like, so I come from, I don't know, I guess to summarize my position, I come from the place of kind of moral contortion. I don't know if that's the right word, but just feeling contorted by all of the various, I don't feel like the immense weight of, you can't get this wrong. Eternal salvation is at stake. And at one, it feels completely wrong to go revolt against the church. And there's a whole kind of pastoral's wager of, okay, it is probably safer to not do that. But then on the other hand, there's another pastoral's wager variant of, okay, but it's also wrong to do nothing when the body of Christ seems to be attacked and in its enduring its passion, like as some people have modeled or explained, use the metaphor, explain crisis. So like I'm in this weird torsion where I really don't know. I wrote an article a week ago on a couple potential answers to this, one of which is it's maybe in the medium term the laity need to depend far more upon the monasteries and religious orders that are not part of the bureaucratic managerial structure as much. I mean, many of them did become when they reformed, but I'm thinking of those like mini communities that are formed around places like Clear Creek Monastery in Oklahoma. Those people who are, in a way, just trying to, I don't want to say ignore it all, but do the best for themselves locally with people who are staying true to form. And I wrote a few other things, but I'm like, I'm just confused, I will say. Because like there are so many moral contortions that feel like they pull on
That's
once.
really sympathetic, James. Like,
Yeah, just like, wait, the Dodgers.
I mean, they
scored
call it
2
a
runs.
crisis for a reason.
We're coming back. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the one? The Nostra Aetate anniversary is coming up with 3,000 faithful from different religions, and all the major Judaism, Islam, Hinduism, Jainism, Sikhism, Buddhism, Zoroastrianism. How is Zoroastrianism still around? I thought that died out like 1,000 years ago.
Did they invite Sede representatives?
No, we're not a different religion.
No, I'm just
We're the
like,
Catholic religion.
But if they truly want to be ecumenical,
No, the most they can give you is Burke saying the Mass at the Vatican. That's it. That's the most they can give you.
Yeah.
And Michael Matt is like screaming from the top of his bed about how great it is. I don't know. So here's the main reason why I wanted to have this conversation is actually this next question. If the truth sets us free, and we know traditionalism is the truth because we can see the continuity with the past, are we free? And if we're free, why do we have this fear of black pills? Like, I mean, I'm not talking like this is a distinctly trad problem. There's a lot of Sedes who are black pilled out of their minds. I see Nova Sorters are black pilled out of their minds. Like, there are some Sedes who are black pilled out of their minds too. They should get off the internet and stop looking to be black pilled more. But like,
Really, 'cause
seriously,
you guys seem to be the ones with the only white pill these days. Like, we have the one solution. It's happy over here.
well, we do until you get 5 inches deep and you realize the SSPV pretend all the other Sede groups don't exist. The CMRI wants to be in union with everyone, and the RCI says we're better than the rest of you. It's like it's normal, retarded Franciscan, Dominican, Jesuit squabbles. It's all bullshit.
It's a fallen world, man.
It's so dumb. Like, as speaking as a lay person who has nothing to do with anything in that world, it's all so dumb looking out from the outside looking in. But I mean, we will see in the next few years the SSPX whether or not they get the bishops. They told us last 2 years they're in talks. Like, I don't know. Williamson made a bunch of bishops. They should just go to one of those ones and just make more bishops.
Right
Then
now,
they don't have this problem.
Is Williamson's bishops, are they sedevacantist? Are they recognize and resist but excommunicate? Like what's their status? Or do you not pay attention?
I don't really know them that
That's
well,
fine, yeah.
but I imagine they're all excommunicated laity tendency for not following the rule that John the 23rd has to make all of the bishops. So, and no, it's Pius X who made that rule. John the 23rd made a different rule. There's so many technicalities.
And yeah, I thought JP2 also amended it to prevent Lefebvre at some point.
No, it's a Pius X 10th rule, the laity tendency, and then the Code of Canon Law just kept it over with the automatic excommunication. So then JP2 could do the thing where he kept his hands free and he's like, oh, the guy excommunicated himself because he wouldn't listen to me, even though we were in constant dialogue with him and we were slope. Like, Lefebvre is the most ballsy guy ever. When it came down to it, like everybody, I don't like Lefebvre for a lot of reasons, but like when he came up to bat, the bases were loaded and 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth, he actually got a hit.
Yep.
He needed to do his part, and him and Castro de Mayer, the notorious Sede contest. Tell you, Latinos make the best Sedes. They're so obnoxious. They decided that they were just going to do it, and they just did it, and they thumbed their nose and like, no, why did they do this? They were all excommunicated, and then society just continues to grow. It's like,
right. Look. What was the test we were given? By their fruits they shall be known. Like, look, the modernists have all excommunicated themselves. It's just that Rome hasn't weighed in on affirming that. Like, we're just all excommunicated, man. Like, we're just all
yeah. It's more like what Lefebvre said, that they're in their own weird space. We're just Catholics. But I wanted to ask you that, James. Do you feel that traditionalism is a big white pill? Like, you have the faith, and like, regardless of whether you can ever go to mass again or not, like, you have it. Like, right? You just might be in the catacombs and have to say active contritions every day and tremble that you might go to hell for something you accidentally said online. But like, you have the faith. You should be happy.
Well, I don't know. I still have a number of thoughts in this. Again, it's just mostly position of great confusion. I just see the Diamondites as being super black-pilled. Like, when I was arguing with some of them and watching their conversations with each other and talking to some of them. So, but then I also see like huge pessimism. Oh, I think there's lots of hopelessness amongst lots of groups. And there's also people who seem to enjoy and almost find a paradoxical hope through being super hopeless and negative on things. But I think, again, the role of hope is, as it always is, found in the other theological virtues in your attempt to open yourself up to the grace of receiving them. Because I feel a lot more morally contorted just through the like conflicting trends of feeling like, okay, is more action needed, is less over the last few months. Like, I felt a lot more, I will say, at peace a year ago, but I mean, there was also personal vocational things that were tied up in that, where I just felt like I'm not worrying about things in the church. I'm just doing the liturgical office with friends. We're doing tons of things, and I'm just like focusing on what's happening locally where I last was. I have a lot less of that here, being in a bigger city, and like maybe that is part of it. Is how much are you individually living the faith to the best of your ability, which is opening yourself up to faith, hope, and love from God. This hope ultimately is not something you're going to create. It's a gift you're going to receive. It's going to be imprinted on your soul. Sorry, that's not really an answer.
I mean, we're all giving answers here. The only one who here is in a firm position is a Sede, because I'm like, hey guys, I'm in the church, guys, everything's wonderful. I don't have sacraments, but like, I have it. Like everybody else is, you're in the trenches fighting a war. If you have all the answers and you're a R&R or an opinionist, I think you're doing something wrong. You're not looking at this long enough, because if you think this guy might still be the Pope in some way, and that doesn't cause some type of mental warfare, like as to whether or not this guy who just tomorrow decides that he's going to go pray with the Zoroastrians. That's normal. It's normal to pray with the Zoroastrians. It's like, this is a problem. So how are we doing on time? Like, you guys still got time to get the last
No,
two
you
questions?
man, you run. It's your show. You run as long as you want.
No,
I'm
okay.
good.
That's fine if you had hard outs.
Good.
All right, so the next question was, we're told by content creators like by Michael Matt, like, to stick to the plan and just zip it. We're gonna get what we want. But leaving aside the prayer and penance, what would we say that constitutes an actual plan for traditionalism that can be done without making it look like a worldly movement? Because Nick Cavazza said at one point, he's just, doing his normal black pill content. He's like, we should write letters and do public demonstrations and like picket bishops. I'm like, what? What? The bishops
don't-
get all their money from the US government. They don't care about us.
I don't care. The problem with the bishops is they would rather see, most bishops, I'm not going to speak for all of them, they would rather see the whole church close shop before dare to admit that a mistake was made.
Yeah.
And that's pretty black-pilled. Like, I've changed my stance a little bit. Like, it was a little more optimistic. I mean, look, time helps. So to the whole point of like zip it, it's a very dissatisfying answer. But if you do have the demographic momentum, there is an argument to be made that if you're small but you have great growth projection, you grow stronger later. So the question may be not zip it in perpetuity, but zip it until we have enough power. And that's something that traditionalists are very bad at. Like, we want to speak up for truth right away. The modernists, because they're all liars and deceivers, they will wait like 400 years before they launch their attack, because they're busy sinning and pleasuring themselves with all kinds of debauchery. So it doesn't matter. They don't get they don't have to wait to get their dopamine hit. We like we just suffer. And we want to see a little bit of hope and victory, so we get over eager and we want to, but like, nothing's going to work right now. Nothing will work. We were all pretty, like, especially in the R&R, everybody, I mean, everybody, to like even the moderate Novus Ordo attendee I would talk to, like, didn't believe that Francis was the Pope. The level of benevacantism that like would be talked about behind closed doors was insane. The most normal, non-controversial Catholic would be like, oh, I don't really think he's Pope, man. And I'm like, and then, you get into definitions of like, what does that mean? Are you a Sede? Are you a 1958 Sede? Are you? They can't answer that. They were just like, something stinks. But there's nothing we can do right now because we're too weak. It's like Revenge of the Sith, and Yoda stopped fighting. So you're gonna have to wait for the next generation, and that's like people do not want to hear about that. But we were all super R&R against Francis. Half of the normies didn't even think he was Pope, and it didn't matter. They have the church, or the ape of the church, if you will. Which
they have the buildings, and we have the faith, Saint Athanasius.
Yes. I mean, like, all of this was like, James, if you're like, dude, I've been so down, and my Twitter was like the white pill of white pills, and internally, man, just like you, the last 2-3 months, like, I have struggled. Like, it's like every day it feels like I'm just down about this, and a lot of it was because people were like, okay, Francis was bad, but he's, as the Italians say, popes die. So you were hoping Leo, like, I would have been fine with like a Leo in a JP2 realm, like just make moves back towards, like, can we just like slowly inch back towards 1958 or whatever? No, now I actually think he's worse. And so
yeah, I was gonna play a clip from Bishop Sanborn saying that Leo is much worse than
he's 100% right. And so now everybody's just super, and he's young.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, this is gonna be forever. It's so hard. But the only thing I can take comfort in is the fact that all of this was predicted, and it's like, I told a Protestant friend of mine, like, oh yeah, everything's a mess in here. But if you thought that we were a cult, if you thought that we just like we're like Scientologists, all of our prophecies would be super positive. Like, we're the best. We have the vision. All of our popes are infallible all of the time. Like, if he says you don't like this pizza, you don't eat that pizza. No, all of our mystics and Marian apparitions talked about doom and gloom and terrible things. So that's the white pill if you want it. It's like, you're gonna suffer, but it was all predicted, so you have the truth. But man, it's abysmal. Like, you start stacking up all of these, and everyone like wants to know about the third secret of Femina. Guys, we have the front row ticket to third secret of Femina. Just right about the last 60 years, and that's the third secret of Fatima.
Yeah, like you wonder why it took Lefebvre so long, because he was shell shocked that suddenly the Pope's just doing random bullshit, and he's like, "Wait, that's not what he's supposed to be doing." Like he wasn't even on the team of the traditionalists till 71, because
really?
Father de Paul 64 was on the team of the traditionalists. Yeah, he didn't think that it was going to go this way at all. Like all of a sudden, everyone's like, "What do we do? All hands on deck!" And he's like, "I'm retired." What?
Yeah.
Like, oh no, buddy, you don't know what's happening. So, what do you think about that?
James? Wasn't it Dr. Kwasniewski on Pints with Aquinas said he was like, Matt, like, you look back at Vatican II, and you like, if it didn't happen, you would never believe it could happen. You would, and wasn't that what Sister Lucia, allegedly, the real Sister Lucia, was like? She couldn't be brought to write it down. She was so horrified. What's this? Worse, still not worse.
But worse, still not worse than Ratzinger, who decided to use the power of the Pope in his heretical book publication of books worldwide, knowing that they have more impact than encyclicals. I don't know if that's actually true, because I've read Ratzinger's books, and like they're impossible to get through. They're so full of fluffy, flowery language and philosophical idealism.
It's because you haven't read JP2. Like, Ratzinger was pithy as hell compared to him. Right, see, that's Ratzinger was not the problem. Like, okay, look. So this is what I do for my job. Like, I work in compliance, so like legal compliance on highly regulated clients, and they all freak out because they're like, we don't have anything, and there's a billion regs. I'm like, just start moving in the right direction. That's why I didn't have so much of a problem with Ratzinger, because after he got over his like liberal Vatican II heyday, he started making progress. I'm like, if you're in a bad situation, you can't do anything to make it perfect right away. You've got to start moving towards a betterment. So anybody, like, that's why, like, I don't have problems with people who attend the Novus Ordo if they're trying to better things. Like, I tell them, I think it's dangerous for you, but if you're like, hey, there's a problem, how do I make it better, more traditional? That's the problem we've been having now, I think, with the entire post-Leo pontificate, is that the trads are just like, we're just turning on each other. It's like, oh, like, so-and-so won't say something fast enough. I'm like, he agrees with you. He's just not speaking quickly. I don't know what you want me to say.
I mean, from the perspective of Sede, who's sitting at a knife to stab every single R&R person at all points in the day.
Well, your strategy, like particularly when you guys have PR problems, your strategy should be similar. You would just want an R&R guy to make a further step. So, like, if you have someone who's like in a progressive Novus Ordo parish, and they're like, I want to go to something a little more traditional. And your end goal, whatever it is, whether it's R&R, Sede, not Sede, sorry, Sede, you want them to start moving towards you. The problem is when the gap is this big, like think about the person like, I hate the Novus Ordo. I just want something a little more reverent. Maybe a Latin Novus Ordo would do. And you come in there and you're like, well, the popes aren't even valid. So, like, good luck.
Yeah, you stick the knife in and then you start twisting it. It's really fun.
I'm sure it's really fun, but those guys are like, okay, I'm going to stick with my boomer.
I know, this is the PR problem, but you're right. No, you're right. If we were to look at this in purely natural ways, that we shouldn't be twisting the knife, but there's always one Sede even if there's 5 who are like calmly like, have you thought about this? There's always one. It's just like, and here we go.
That's
But when
I mean,
you-
that's anyone, man. Like you want to go back the other way. Like you want someone who's like, oh, like progressive Vatican II Catholicism is the real Catholicism. They'll do the same thing. Like Mike Lewis is not going to be happy with Latin Novus Ordos, even though he claims he is. He's going to want you to go to like the most cringy Boomerfell banner thing ever. And he publicly says it. He's like, I want trads to suffer. Okay, buddy. So it's just.
But James, you haven't given your response to the question: what constitutes a plan, and what can it be done without looking like a worldly political movement?
That's a good kid. Like most of the questions here, I don't really have one because I admit liking this Mark Bazone plan in my imagination, but in my will, I'm terrified of it because I'm like, what if we're wrong? This whole plan of you go in and you storm the bureaucratic headquarters, like you storm I was going to say UN, but I mean the USCCB. You like tear down that structure. You storm the Vatican, et cetera, and like you just force change. I like all that, but then it's like, okay, well, what if you're wrong? Are you just turning the faith into like you're saying, to a political ideology?
It's very Eastern Orthodox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It becomes the
yeah.
it
What
becomes
is,
the Grover religion.
Picante, what is
sorry.
what is the end game for Sede? Is it like it's vacant now, but like it will not be later after divine intervention, or like do you guys like kind of hold to the chastisement? Like how does that work, or is it perpetually empty?
No, we have the power to make a pope now. But if we make a pope now, we got to excommunicate the SSPX. And they're the biggest group of traditionalists. It's not like it's a good thing to do.
The SSPX, dude, I think the SSPX will really like where they're at.
I don't understand them one single bit. It makes no sense.
They're playing all parties right now.
But if you make a pope, right, and you have to say his name in the canon, and that splits the SPX in half. Half of them go, yeah, we don't care. The other half go, maybe, let's give it a shot. And then we put the Pope in Ohio. Like, it's going to be kind of ridiculous.
Right.
That's all you have to say is put the Pope in St. Gertrude the Great in Ohio. It's 200 people. Like, yeah, no one's going to care. It could be the real faith, and nobody would care. It's not magnificent.
Right.
Sorry, worldly things do matter.
What do Sedes think about the whole ape of the church thing?
Well, we think it's currently alive and in control.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how
you don't even have to be one to see that. That's clearly, it's so obvious. Like,
yeah. I wanted to also answer this question though because I'm a Hans Hermann Hoppian anarchist, and to my mind, the Sede Vacantis position is actually the correct position because you can't change systems from within. You change them from the peripheries coming in. And since currently the peripheries are guarded by the transsexuals, essentially, you have to remove that before you can make your inroads. And so as long as Jimmy Martin is there, there's no ability for us to ever take over the ape of the church. So you defect from the system, thus making it invalid. It's like if you want to destroy the U.S. empire, don't use the U.S. dollar. And that would immediately collapse the empire. If everyone did that tomorrow, the empire is gone in 24 hours. All the bases, everyone has to come home. It's everything's dead. And so it's the same principle, which is why, I'm a big ANCAP. It always shows up and people get mad at me for it.
It's the same principle though as like what we just talked about. Does it then just become like a secular power struggle? Whereas to James's point, like there's higher levels here of now, of course, you guys both think you're right, but you better be right.
Well, we all know we're right though. What we don't know is how we get from point A to point B, but we all know we're right at point A, and that is whatever errors are being taught by this thing is not the church. Just because the church cannot teach error, so wherever there's error, I don't have to follow that.
Right. Yes. Yeah. It's funny. So many like there's people in my circles who like ask me like, "Are you Sedevacanist?" I'm like, I don't understand why. Now, Sedevacantists would understand, but from their perspective, I'm like, I don't understand why ceasing to follow error automatically puts me into that position. But I'm like, do you not see the problem? They're like, yes, I see the problem. I'm like, okay, well, good. Like now we're just at a part of like what to do with that. And that, James, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the what to do is where there seems to be it's a torment to figure that out. I will say to the Sede point, it's like you have the cleanest cut break. It's a large break. It's a large leap, if you will, but it's the cleanest. It is the cleanest. I will give you guys that. Because then it's okay, we get it.
Yeah, we're 1,000 priests in the world. We're like 30 bishops, and we have to just build everything all over again.
Right. Yeah.
Rather than this amorphous blob of we don't know which bishop, like is the Schneider guy a traditionalist this week? Is Strickland a tradition? Because Strickland's flip-flopped many times on this stuff. He's like, Amoris Laetitia is based, guys. Everyone, let's do it. And then he's like, no, I really do like the Latin Mass, and I don't like the Novus Ordo Mass. You're like, which side is it going to be, buddy?
Yeah, I feel like
are you on?
they're just equally as confused, like as we all are. I mean,
yeah. So there's a comment that I just wanted to make in general, with just the second to the last question. Is it a tactical mistake to for some Catholics, it's probably a normie thing where they're like, whatever goes on, it's also against the social reign of Christ. It's like Trump with his Kirk revivalism, and then there's someone who's like, and the social reign of Christ. It's like we're attacking on traditionalism to a cultural Christian movement that I'm really concerned that this is a tactical mistake that traditionalists are falling into because they want to get some sense of not validity, but some sense of like gravity to their statements. So they're like, oh yeah, Charlie Kirk died to become a Catholic. That's why they killed him. It's like, do we want to attach the bandwagon of the social reign of Christ to Charlie Kirk, guys? Because even Sedes did this, by the way. Your thoughts, Ryan?
There was good. That was my first video on my channel. There actually was good evidence he was discerning. Very good evidence. But to try to use that to then catapult us into relevancy, like, look, like, and that's the whole problem. That's the spirit of Vatican II, if you will. Catholics have always been weird. We've been weird since the 1st century. We've been weird when we were launching crusades and we thought we were at the peak of our power. We've been weird when we were the Spanish conquistadors. And right now we are the weirdest of the weird because the whole society has been corrupted by Satan. The desire to not be weird needs to you just got to purge that. We are just weirdos and we're going to have to die. You're baptized a weirdo and you're going to have to die a weirdo. And it doesn't matter if you're at the height of Christendom or not.
Have you talked to my mom lately or something? These are my mom's talks. She's like, I'm a weird Catholic.
These were shower
what
thoughts.
am I doing?
These are shower thoughts. But I mean, like that's the problem, like with the conservative, like JP2 Novus Ordo types, is they really liked that era because there was societal respect. And I think a lot of the problem with the crisis right now is we don't know how bad it is. Like, well, I think we're starting to realize it, but it's like, whoa, I'm starting to realize something that was like 15 years this bad. And I'm just now realizing it. And then the despair sets in. But no, we are super small. We are growing, but we're super small. Everything's coming down around us. The society is crumbling. And we're just going to be the complete weirdos. It sucks, but yeah. So no, don't like, look, if you can use it to then, kind of get to reach people, sure. But your goal needs to be to, reach souls and convert souls. It shouldn't be to become relevant. Like, what are we? It's not 1950 anymore, guys. Like everything has fallen apart. Stop. Like we're still trying to pull back into this relevancy. No, we are done. It's literally
this weird thing. So, like, you'll see something like, oh, this woman is wearing a bikini and she's in the streets and she's like, thank God I can do this. And you're like, yeah, we're not living in a world where Christians are actually like present because you don't do it in a Christian society. That was condemned in the 1920s. Like, you can't do this when it came out because that was still the Christian society. Like, we're so far gone. And then some people are like, we're so back. Look at the Christian revival going on right now, guys. You're like, when this blows up in your face, all of you people, especially like Cameron Ricker, it's like, oh yeah, he'll just move on to the next thing. It's like it's a grift. They don't actually have supernatural faith. So then we accidentally polluted Catholicism, but it's such a small amount that no one's going to hold us accountable to it. But like, no, we should have some respect for Catholicism to not like associate it with serial adulterers like Donald Trump. Do you have thoughts on this, James? Do you want to repeat the question?
Yeah, well, it's hilarious because it's so tempting to try to associate Christian revival with political revival. But I think they're both false hopes of utopia, of human created, us getting back to the garden by our own effort. But it also is paradoxical because in a certain way, grace exists in that paradoxical spot where human action is conjoined with divine aid and divine help. Sorry, and then that is diverging off. But it was very tempting in those early few months, the beginning of this year, to just have this overly white-pilled, overly Trumpian, we're taking Canada, we're taking Greenland, we're doing this, and this is the thing that I noticed is during those months, I was caring far more about like political ends and far more than spiritual ends and things in my own life, where I was just so taken in by this spirit of the age of Trump 2.0ism that I was starting to not really think about spiritual things. I just think back to where I was thinking in February, and my whole life was consumed by politics and the American Imperium, and I was falling for it all.
I never understood how the optimism of Trump and even with Leo could fit in with Our Lady of Fatima and Nikita. I'm like, look, everything's supposed to go bad. Like, how is Donald Trump and Leo gonna save this? Like, then the prophecies are wrong, right? So now we got another problem. I'm like, I just think it's gonna get worse. I was with you though, James, man. I was hopeful the first couple months, but gosh. Like, just do something, man.
You guys are too young. You guys are too young. You got to be like, I'm adult pilled. Hello, nothing ever happens. They never change anything. Well, I'm 37.
I'm 34. I'm not that.
Okay.
Yeah. We all saw 9/11. Like,
I was pushing
James, how old are you?
25. I was being pushed in a stroller at that time.
Yep, didn't see 9/11.
No, but the funny thing is, the hope that I do have, and I guess this might be bad too, is I'm sticking it in history and not in supernatural hope, is I look back at church history and like this just seems like something that's like a particularly bad version of what has happened a number of times. Where like you look at the 10th century, I believe, and then the
Arian
14th, 15. I mean, look earlier too, the Arian crisis. But I'm like, look at the time during the Great Western Schism, and I'm like, if we can create a hermeneutic of continuity that goes through that, and like for all the confusion that would have happened to the average Catholic wasn't excommunicate at that time, as far as everyone was concerned, by the fact that everyone excommunicated everyone else who was in communion with all of the other claimants. If we can create a hermeneutic of continuity that goes through that, there will be some sort of hermeneutic of continuity going forward to the future. And I mean, that gives me some sort of hope that like as long as our affairs are conducted with charity towards each other, and this is the problem, is I've fallen out of charity in my dealings with the last couple months with some of these other writers and thinkers.
Well, it's completely fine. It's completely fine to have no charity towards the EO. This is an anti-EO podcast. Any EO bashing is always fine and acceptable.
Eastern Orthodox?
Yes.
Are there Orthobros who are trying to? Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Igor Grover's an orthobro.
okay.
He's one of our friends.
Yeah.
Who's an ortho bro? E-Girl Grover?
Yes.
Oh.
You know him
Uh,
from the Avoiding Babylon show. He used to
Is
be
that-
there. They eventually got rid of him,
is this the new name?
I guess. The new account.
I just I don't watch Eastern Orthodox channels. Like, what kind of person just goes around Sedevacantist channels? Like, I'm gonna watch.
I have listened to Jay Dyer for his political analysis a little.
Yeah, but he's like
little-
big. Like, he's a big
Yeah.
like. All right, Grover, whatever your hobby is, man. Like,
It's the people I attract. Sorry, we cut off James.
Yeah. And I was rambling again, and I'm just saying that there does seem to be some hope if you look back at church history that like there are ways this can get resolved. And in the end, even though I am kind of still weirded out, like I think certain things are too far. Like obviously I'm not Sede. I feel like that's going too far. And yet I'm also super ecumenical thoughts towards Sedes and towards SSPX, even though I also have a moral panic that keeps me from going any steps further.
so you're like pure diocesan TLM, James. That's kind of your.
Yeah.
Well, you're
and
with Nick, right? You guys are in like that crappy hall.
Yes, but I also have gone to other things. Like I don't have trad credentials. I have a lot of coworkers who go to ordinariate, so I have gone there
Okay.
a lot. I've also gone to Byzantine things frequently.
Gotcha.
He might have met my siblings or my nephews at one point at the ordinary in Texas. Hopefully not.
Yes. So I mean, so that's to say, like, I do not have trad credentials really at all, other than not really, other than knowing a lot of people. But I'm like, and that's where I'm like in this weird mid spot where I like see, I don't see these new things as invalid. I see it as more like you were saying, TLM Ryan, like there's something crazy off of the incentive structure and what this produces in its effects.
It's
And I'm like,
all.
I don't know how to deal with it, but it's just leaves you in a
Dude, the only thing I've ever gotten out of a normie as to like a positive out of Vatican II is that growth exploded in Africa. So I dug into the stats. All the growth came before the reforms.
yeah.
It's
Have
like
you-
literally nothing good came of the Second Vatican Council.
Sede Picante, have you? Oh, sorry.
Sue me.
You should show him that tweet you had of the news cycle. The Novus Ordo news cycle. That was one of the most hilarious things that you've ever written. That I loved. It was like Monday after travel saved the church. I'm sorry. Let's see.
I don't remember. How do I use advanced Twitter search?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Go to the
Monday,
website.
Novus Ordo has 1.4 billion Catholics. Tuesday, but those Catholics don't care or attend mass. Wednesday, after trouble save the church. Thursday, did you see the aura? Friday, more TLM shutdown. Saturday, complaining about confession lines. It's like that's hilarious satire because of how true it is. That's like the roller coaster of my own thought process at times.
Can I respond to Gofaw? This is actually a really good question. I actually struggled with it quite a bit. And this isn't my own novel theory. You can quote Archbishop Schneider on this in his Credo Catechism. Vatican II had nothing infallible in it because, and I think Sedevacantists would disagree with this. But the canons of ecumenical councils are what's infallible because they have anathematics punishments attached to them. So I've argued with normies and they're like, oh, you don't accept Vatican II. I'm like, well, what's my punishment? They're like, oh,
Yeah, it's the Michael Matt. What is there that I have to believe in Vatican II that Vatican II says?
I
Argument.
suppose you're giving me more historical context to that, but yeah, I just it's like sure, like I've got it back there. Bishop Barron put it out. I've read it. It's a lot of words. Yes, like I can pick out a ton of it that's orthodox. But then if I come across something that's not, I mean, this is kind of the R&R model, right? It's like if I come across something that's not, and I don't deem it, I mean, it's not my private judgment whether or not it's infallible. It's like it either is or it isn't on a canonical legal level. And if it's not, well, then I suppose
Our enemy is in the chat again.
annulment proof.
Yeah,
that's a cool name.
Yeah, he's the anti-NFP guy. He's super passionate about his content. It's wrong, but he's always entertaining, and he has some very good points. But you're wrong, Mr. Fell. You're wrong. I tell you, you need to convert to Catholicism.
So anyways, that's how I square it. It's given me at least peace of mind. But Picante, I'll give you a little olive branch here. I was thinking before I came on the show, it's like functionally, because like I think it was someone went on Matt Frad the other day. It was like the guy who was like big on Mother Angelica, Italian guy, I forget his name.
Raymond Arroyo.
Yeah. And he was just talking about how like with the modernists now, they don't care to change dogma. They just want to change practice, because then the practice becomes the dogma. I kind of thought about it on the traditionalist side. Like the Sedes are like, isn't everybody then kind of I pull out my Sede box off the shelf and open it? Like the last time, I don't mean that literally, but in terms of like, am I going to listen to, like, I think it was the last encyclical that Pope Francis wrote. And, every time that occurs, like my phone just starts blowing up. Like, what do you think of this? I literally opened it. I'm like, I just see heresy in the first sentence. I'm done. I'm not reading this. And that was like, even my normie friends were like that. So it's like, do we, and I feel the same way when it comes to like meat on Fridays. It's like, yeah, like I almost never eat meat, but 4th of July, am I going to go on the new canonical thing and just do a different penance? And my problem as a traditionalist here was, I said, it feels Protestant to me. That feels Protestant. I don't like that I'm making that decision. I don't, and I'm okay with the church does give you some discretion. The traditionalist church, pre-council, gave you some discretion on certain things, but now everything is discretion. Everything. Like, am I going to celebrate the old calendar or the new calendar? Everything changed, and I hate, like, I mean, even the breviary, like, I've got it up there. I had the new one because I didn't know at the checkout line. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, there's no way they changed that too. I Googled.
Oh,
like,
you have to do the
You've got to be
breviary.
kidding me. They changed that too. So I returned it and I ordered that thing for like $300 more. Is ridiculous. Yeah, it's picking and choosing all the time. And as someone who came from non-denominationalism, like I am allergic to picking and choosing. I do not like that. Like, what are we going to do as the unified body of Christ, and what are we not going to do? And now it's like, oh yeah, you can wear a veil, or you cannot. You can eat meat on Friday, or you cannot. I'm like,
I know. Is the veil thing in the Bible, or is it not? Do we not believe in the literal interpretation of Scripture anymore? Like, if the literal interpretation of Scripture is optional, there's something seriously wrong.
Yes.
Because, like, why can't we just be like Pope Francis and say Christ comes down as a piece of bread, which he said, and Leos has said that too. I'm sorry, these people are like weirdos. Either they're like purposely like, I believe it, but I'm purposely just scandalizing the faithful, or quite frankly, they're heretics and they're not Catholics. Okay. But the reason why I like
things.
What
you're
gonna say? No, James. Yeah.
They like stoking things on purpose. That's your point. I talked to you about some of this.
Yeah. A lot of Francis was just stoking things on purpose. The amount that Nova Soda Watch has from his first year, there was this news story every week. It was like he was Barack Obama, but a smarter and Italian Barack Obama, much more choleric. That it's insanity. Like, This is why I told you, James, just make it all into satire. I have to do the same thing because one of the reasons why I fight with annulment proof is I have a philosophy degree, so I'm mildly autistic, and I'll argue with people till I've literally argued for 6 hours on whether or not God knew what it was like to drive a Chevy truck. Like, I'm retarded. And so I realized after a while, I just have to say
I'm gonna
no.
go to the bathroom. I'll be right back, guys.
Okay. I just have to stop and like draw a boundary, or else just turn it into a joke because it won't stop. I will argue until I become angry, and then I'll just start anger posting. It's like, okay, what are we doing?
Well,
Apparently,
that's the thing I find it far more productive to satirize rather than just being another. Like, I'm glad that Kristen's out there, but it would be unhealthy for me to be writing the same way he does. Or the many of these other. Well, because like I can't seem to grow in charity. I'm doing it. I also hope that satire isn't making it worse, because satire could be done on charity. But I do think there is a way you can reach I can't necessarily say charity, but at least a less angry posture from just realizing things are ridiculous. And this is Chris Jetson mentions he does great satire too, but this Melty the Ice Cap is the new synodality mascot for 2026. It's like,
Yeah.
we're gonna worship ice cubes now.
Without the satire, I think everybody just has a mental breakdown, or else they just cope. I don't know.
And become popesplainers and are like, this is awesome, right? What is lingerie?
Oh, it's lingerie. Is what he meant to say. Some women do wear their veils as just pretty hair coloring. It's actually supposed to cover like a wimple. But then some mantillas are too small, so then you're just kind of like, da-da-da, mess fit, like Igor Grover.
I did a satire on veils. And
Yeah, that was probably the best one where you had like it was like 20 different things. So I was like, there's no way he's got more. You just keep scrolling. You're like, this woman has a pink veil. She's obviously a feminist. You're like, wait, what? There's a feminist veil because of the color.
But that was really fun to write because I did it actually while talking in a voice chat with some of Deuterocomical's friend group. So I had one of the women who's there just suggested all the different meanings to them, and like, what is an opaque veil versus an infinity veil versus crochet versus beret versus baseball cap versus scarf versus white versus gray versus black and white versus black covering the entire head with only an eyelet. Actually, no, that's not a Catholic veil. That was Islamic. Or blue or red. Actually, I can't. There were even more on here than I thought. I think we put like 30 different types on there, and that was one of our top articles. But I'm like,
no, but that's actually a classic article. Like you could print that over and over again, and it's just actually that good. We were talking about TLM Ryan, a certain article that James Green wrote about 30 different types of veils that women wear, and it's probably his best piece of satire. Because like, have you ever been? I mean, I was from Franciscan University, so like, the whole idea of like the different girls and they're self-organizing, you just sit there like, yeah, it's going on.
I thought that like if you were single as a woman, you wore white, and if you're married, you wore like a black. Or is that not true?
I have no idea.
That's normally true. That's like the thing that the people I know follow. The funny part is I expanded that into a whole system of like there's 40 different categories that all mean different things.
Well, I before I converted and I was secular, like I was in a fraternity, and I told my buddies before the sorority girls would come over, I'm like, I wish we could like mark their foreheads with whether they're single or not, because like I don't want to like flirt with one and then she's got a boyfriend. That's awkward. And then I found out that the Catholics have this veil thing. I'm married at this point, so it didn't affect me anymore. I'm like, that's genius. Like, but then I started noticing, I'm like, yeah, but they don't always follow it. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, the Catholics couldn't get anything more right. They figured out they don't even have to mark their foreheads. They just wear a veil. It's like
So the final question that I had was, um, should you become an expert in your field so that your opinion actually matters? So, for example, I'm a liturgist. That's what I studied at college for fun. I actually have a book with every single one of the church's official decrees on liturgy sitting in my room, and I've read the whole book, and it was extremely boring, and I don't know why I read it. So, like, I came to Sedevacantism just because I put the whole the words of consecration together could not exist the way they were. So, therefore, yeah, I'll put this up in a second here. I stand on that as a way that I will always argue with sources that why I can prove Sedevacantism is true. Opposed to that, we have something like my mortal enemy Anthony Abate, who just kind of like, well, Medjugorje did positive things for my family, therefore it's okay. And it's like, wait, that's your evidence that the Novus Ordo is real? He's like, well, yeah, I'm not a theologian. So should you actually have to be an expert in some level and show sources in order to have an opinion?
That's a good question, man. It helps. I'll say that much. I think to James's point, though, like you can study this stuff till you're blue in the face, and you'll find someone who studies the same thing. I mean, isn't that kind of dark though? Like that's exactly what Luther thought. Like, oh, if we just all read the Bible, we'll come to the same conclusion. And then there's like a billion different denominations.
That's what the devil wants. Is he wants just people fighting each other and
Right.
destroying whatever's left that he hasn't corrupted already.
Right. So I think we just go back to what our Lord said, and Mel Gibson, who knows Cradle Sede. I learned that on Joe Rogan. He was very good about it. He said, well, our Lord gave us a test. You shall know them by their fruits. As it comes to Medjugorje, actually, I asked my best friend about that. I said, because it's bunk. I mean, you can just clearly see it's bunk. I said, why do so many people have such good results when they visit? And he was very simple. He's like, Ryan, it's people's faith. It's not the fake seers. It's not an actual apparition. It's just people are coming searching for God, and they have faith and hope. I mean, they're exhibiting a virtue. It's different than Lourdes, where you have legitimacy, but faith moves mountains. So, but I don't know, Picante. I think like the problem is that everybody is in this active space, and it shifts immediately. So as soon as you become really good at something, something else comes up, and especially like in the Avoiding Babylon space, they're hosting 2 shows a night. So it's like there's just no way. What Anthony's really good at is because he drives trucks all the time, is he's listening to everyone. So he's like the scout. He knows what's going on in the content sphere and in how people are shifting more. Like that's very unique in his space. And that, so if you want to talk about like expertise, I would, and your expertise is chosen for you. Like a lot of us in my secular career, I never thought I'd be doing what I was doing. Things happen to you, and then you just become a subject matter expert. Anthony, in my opinion, his subject matter expertise right now is traditionalist relationships and their content, where they're moving in that particular space. He's not a theologian. Rob has more of that aptitude. I don't think he's necessarily an expert, although he might be. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, look, the more we can learn, the better. To your point with and I think one of the first things we were going to talk about was whether or not you should even debate a Sedevacantists. And I've told people, like, I debate professionally. I'm an attorney. I wouldn't tangle with you guys for a long, long time. Like that's the thing is people, it's just like the Ron Paul thing. Like people will just dismiss it because it's far-fetched, and it is. But boy, if they can drag you down to their level, you're like, oh boy, like there's some good points here. I need to refine something. Like, you can't just, with that freaking guy who's like 6 months Catholic is like, I'm going to debate a Sedevacantists. His bishop shut him down. His bishop shut him down, which is probably like the one good thing that happened out of Vatican II was that bishop. Because yeah, that's a
You
tough
need to
one.
shut your mouth and think about that and have a little freaking humility.
Yeah, that's what that bishop needed to say to him.
Yep. Rob's he's more fiery than Anthony. Anthony gets all the flack, but
No. That's because you don't remember 2 years ago. Anthony was literally giving death threats on air, and Rob was like, "Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to take this episode down, or can I edit this out?" And he was just like thinking in live time, because Anthony was giving Michael Lofton death threat. It's the greatest episode ever. That was when I fell in love with Voting Babylon. Like before, I just dismissed him as two old fogey men, and then I watched him for 6 months because like.
they're funny. They're funny. Are you on Locals, man? They are hilarious on Locals. If you think that they're good on YouTube, it's 3 times better on Locals.
Well, we kind of fell out because of the Nick stuff that Nick was doing, retaliating against us, and then we were trying to get them involved, and then they wouldn't get involved, and then it just kept on going on and on.
And the devil.
I have too many. I have too many people to cover to like really focus on one person.
Right.
Like I want to do Brian Holdsworth and David L. Gray next week for my content. So it's like,
yeah, that's why I do that. The TikTok slot, man. I don't have to pay attention to anything. Well, James, I just followed you on Twitter. It was good to meet you in person.
Yeah, I was gonna wrap this up here. But did you have anything to add to the? Should you be an expert in the field before you start to comment on anything, Mr. Green?
Yeah, well, I'm not really an expert on. I'm interested in everything, but I'm surface level on everything. But I think that's where I'd return at the end to that distinction between: are you debating Vatican I documents with a Sedevacantists? Like that's probably something you need to be an expert on to debate that versus which church father, how many church fathers, like what level was this council document promulgated at, official magisterium, etc. Like that is a thing you need to be an expert on if you're trying to claim that you're able to debate that. The thing that I don't want to say more competent at, the thing that I'm more interested in is, okay, what do we observe? What can we observe? What does everyone else also admit that they're observing? How can some model, I don't want to say be concocted, but how can I write something that brings the observations of a couple distinct people together? And that's what I've been trying to do recently is, okay, and that's that's something that satire is really good at. So if you're pointing out the things that are obvious to everyone, but in my more serious writing, I'm like, okay, what is something, a model, like for example, like my model is this like bureaucratic infiltration. There is an anti-church that's been built up its structures within the church. And I built up a theory that connects to the documents of Vatican II for like what that means. But I'm mostly just arguing off of my experience, the experience of everyone I taught to, and like the most universal observations. Like we see this probably a lot like the statistical arguments like that you've been raising. Like you have to look them up to find them, and you have to collate them and do a few things. But you're like, we're arguing off of kind of the most obvious facts of the case, not the esoteric hidden things that you have to dig up. I think there's a difference between those two types of argumentation.
100%.
Yeah. But yeah. So.
Well, we weren't going to save all the church's problems or come to agreements. This wasn't a stream about agreeing. This is a stream about trying to make the Sedevacantists not seem like weirdos. Since like we enjoy being weirdos, it's very enjoyable. So I want to thank.
You need to be the PR guy for the Sedes.
Yes, but I don't
get Grover off your Twitter, like the tuxedo with the pit vipers. Like, yeah, go with that, man.
Yeah, but like, look, I have enough issues with blocking everyone that I do it way too fast, so I'm trying not to. Gonna get some self-control. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on to the show, TLM Ryan, James Green. We are all intellectual enemies, but I thought it is important for us smaller streamers who haven't built enough bad blood. At least I haven't built enough bad blood with you guys to. Oh no, I forgot. I have to do the show. Where's the? We. To gather up comments and likes. This has been TLM Ryan, joining us from the TLM Ryan Show. James Green from the Ice Truckers parody site, and your host, Sede Picante. We'll see you next week. End the stream.